They are through bolted, but the bricks start shattering because of the amount of weight that's getting tugged on these things. Okay, they get sucked right into the building, so that's not approvable. You can't load test that. You have to just duplicate the connection with a bigger plate. In case you want to grow ferns and you want to grow anything, fire escapes are a great place to collect. You know, just have the gutters broken, just have all kinds of crap constantly feeding water, and you get, you know, mold. You get what's this green stuff called? The algae, and also the fungus, and what's another name for it when you get green growing on a cement wall? What's the other name for it? Moss and. So fire escapes, and that just does nothing but tear fire escapes apart. Look, all original hardware, okay? Square head bolts. This is 1 year of rust. How many years to get 1 year, 1 inch of rust on this library in the center of Boston? For kids. I said, you know, if you ever want to grow certain ferns and certain plants and not be caught, there's certain things, places you can hide your illegal fern factory, and fire escapes are it. And the other one is a leg to the ground, right? We talked about the building is a leg, the leg is a leg, okay? And by the way, that's how I sometimes fix fire escapes that have rotten buildings and I can't get inside to duplicate the connection. As soon as I put legs on it to the ground, I've eliminated the need for verifying tying in back to the building. This is what it looks like when it's tied into the building. What happens when trucks smash fire escape? They rip the veneer. This thing's still buried 8 to 12 inches deep. So you got to verify, you got to get all this cleaned out to see what happened on the inside, because a lot of guys will just repack it at the veneer. This is a through bolt on a wood structure. Every wood structure must have a through bolt with a plate on the inside. If you get there, you don't see a nut and a threaded rod cut, and you just see lag bolts. And usually the giveaway is 3, 4, 5, 6 lag bolts into an angle. That means what? It's not properly attached. So all wood structures must have a through bolt. Otherwise, they must have a leg to the ground. Okay? Cantilevers. See the release arm? C-wing, and the release arm just blocks your way. You actually walk right into it. It's idiot-proof. You walk through a release arm, and as soon as you rotate it rotates down here with a little clip. And then this thing drops 2 to 3 feet per second. By the time you get down to the pivot point with your child, it's already hit the ground and stays down. That's a cantilever. Got it? This is a perfectly balanced Swiss watch. There's no release arm on it, there's nothing, and it is out of balance. Who's going to hit this? Trash trucks, moving trucks, you name it, they're going to hit it. And a lot of it is just over time. As rust grows inside the weight box, as rust grows on the treads, it gets out of balance. That's what a chain looks like when somebody doesn't want to come in the middle of the night and put it back up. That's what a release arm looks at it. And isn't a release arm that both grabs the top and the bottom an anti-theft device? Because now, can they pull it down from down below? But if it has a release arm, can they? These are always 12 feet off the ground, 12 to 14 feet off the ground. So can a release arm, isn't it an anti-theft device? Because when you get there, you need to get this thing down. Can't you just stick your pole up there and just wiggle it? Can't you put your ladder up there and just turn it and it'll start dropping by itself? You guys have that ability to get on. But this is also an anti-theft device. Weights get thrown on it, things get smashed, things get broken. Trucks hit it. Look at this. Look at the chain. See the illegal chain? Look at the extra weight they threw on it. Trash trucks, things hit it. Top stringers, bottom stringers. Now, a lot of times it's not your treads you have to worry about. It's the fact that the stringers that hold the entire staircase are all rotted out. Right? Now, this is a 25-story hotel in Chicago. I think we got a problem there. This is me shooting it with a long zoom lens. Who's that waiting for? This hand grenade is waiting for the occupants of the building while they're coming down, while the firemen going up with all their gear on. Look how much rust is there, holding the entire stringer. Your treads may be great, but your stringers are about ready to give. And forget these things, you know. You showed up in the middle of the night, the people coming down, falling through these things, and forget one of these things conking you on the head. If you don't have a helmet on, just one of these on your head, you're out. Now it's a rescue mission again. Because you got pieces of steel embedded in people's heads. Things that got smashed that never got fixed. These are all over the place. Railings and how they tie in, rust. The next thing I'm going to show you guys is a couple of walkthroughs by other fire officials, so that you guys can, the spacers in between the grading, they rot out. Rust everywhere. You know, 95% of everything you're going to touch right now is going to require a load test. Only 5% of it will pass. And that's because it recently got done or recently got a new one put on because they didn't want to bother fixing it. This much rust is ready to hold, and this is a school in New Jersey. I just replaced, over the Christmas time, Methuen High School in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Church that they rented their building to a French group that built a school for kids, a one-story farscape. So much rust on the treads. So much rust on it looked just like this. So much rust on the stringer clip that I actually saved it. So it's a one-story, and I actually sliced it like a piece of cake. The top stringer and the bottom piece to use at my next class. So I didn't have time to prepare it, but in my classes I will actually have piece of fire escape here with the railing, the support, and everything, and 3/4 of rust in it. This is a fire escape that was at a building that kids use every day from kindergarten to 6th grade. Teachers use it every day, but here's the worst part. Firefighters, fire inspectors, and building inspectors walk that building every year through that fire escape to do their annual inspections. And they just replaced it. We had to have it done in by January 3rd, and only because the facilities guy said, let's get this done, because this thing is ready to hurt somebody. But it was such a good example that I actually saved the first top 2 treads, plus some of the supports, and the bottom sticker was into the tar, and was all rotted out. I saved it to make a class. So my next classes will have a piece of steel here with photographs of the school and saying this was active as of this year, 2011, and we spent 3 weeks during, not 3 weeks, 10 days during the school break to fab it, build it, install it. But it's going to be here for you can do the touchy-feely and understand in full how long rust takes to grow, but also why load testing and or full refurbishment are the only answer to give you the guarantees you're looking for. How much rust for that tread? That's a hand grenade just waiting to take somebody's leg. Ladders to the ground. Everybody ever see one of these? Out in California, it's called an accordion ladder. It'll actually open up into a ladder. But they don't have any freeze and thaw issues there. That's why it happens every can't get here. This is what a typical weighted balanced ladder will be in some of your back alleyways. When you release that, it drops 2 to 3 feet per second and hits the ground. Otherwise, it comes down any faster. It's a guillotine. Is it acceptable by law to have guillotines? Ladders over the roof. These things must be secure for you guys. Nobody's climbing up fire escapes, only you guys. So these ladders must be confirmed that they're in good condition for your firefighters to get up there. Basically blow a hole in the roof so they can start the ventilation process, correct? These are also illegal. People have modified their ladders. Instead of putting weights on them, they basically cut them in half and make it so it flops out. So we call this Thor's hammer. So when you push this out, or some little kid's playing up there, or the wind blows strong enough, but you take that ladder and you go like this, and there's a cat, a dog, a kid, or a fireman down below, and this thing comes out like Thor's hammer in a nice arcing swing. What happens when the tip of that ladder gets you on the head? Drive you like a nail into the ground. These are illegal. That's what it looks like in the down position. And sometimes you even have a chain on the end, so you have to like let it out so slowly, you know. Is that single action requiring no special knowledge? Here's your fire escape plan. Ready? And we'll help you with it. This year, everything's going to be, you're going to be helped through the National Fire Escape Association. So every document you're going to get is not going to have fire escape engineers or fire escape services on it. It'll have the National Fire Escape Association and links back to that for any industry standard documentation. But we'll basically, through the National Fire Escape Association, we do free classes like we do here. We'll work with you freely online, and whenever possible, when we're in your area and visiting, we will help you by giving you the confidence tests with a name already on the top. We do this every day. We'll give you tags with your name and your seal on it, because we do this every day. That's how we build our rapport. You're going to know who we are, and we're qualified because we're going through all these steps to give you the information you need to make sure that there's at least one guy in town that can inspect properly, and that's us. But we'll give you tags, confidence tests, repair guidelines, load test criteria guidelines. We're going to give you that book that is basically the 1-inch or 2-inch binder with the CD of this class in it, and you just stick it on your shelf. And whenever you have a question about how to build fire escapes, how to inspect fire escape, what a proper inspection looks like, just pull out your book, open it up. Otherwise, a lot of the video that are sitting on the CD, because some of you guys are forbidden to be on the YouTube channel through your local whatever, you just pop in the CD during your once a week classes that you guys have, or once a month classes that you get with your people, and you will basically watch this class and many other classes, because a lot of times in a CD I'll put up to 6 classes. Watch as many of these, but they all say the same thing, but it's also nice to see what other cities, I may say something different in another class. So, let's take a look at some of the plans. Aside from you guys as fire inspectors looking at buildings, do your firefighters do pre-plans throughout the city? Those guys are going to become your fire escape watchers. We took, in Elizabeth, New Jersey, we trained 400 firefighters in a four-day period. They just rotated in, we did a 1-hour class, and all we're doing is making them part of your spotters. Now, are we doing an inspection program in your city, or are we doing an awareness program in your city? Do you want every fire escape, because it's a local requirement, not a local requirement, you're doing a departmental procedures. You guys may have it as a different name. How do you make something that you want to do it as a norm in your city? What's that called? You call it a departmental procedure or guidelines? It's a document, you just create it. It's not code, right? It's just, I'd like to see it done this way. We have a great document for you. We'll make it, and it'll have your name and your phone number and your contact information. We make that for free for you, and it has 3 guidelines in there: how to inspect it, how to repair it, and how to paint it. And it's all general. It doesn't tell you what bolt to use. It doesn't. It just talks about remove all the rust. In lieu of a load test, that's the kind of language we put in there. Okay. So now with that document in your hand, you got your firefighters to do pre-plans, and their job is to identify where the fire escapes are. So they're at one main street, but there's no fire escape there. But behind them is what? A fire escape with no tag. The captain of the squad basically gets notified that at 3 Main Street, there's a fire escape there. That's all he needs. Who does he notify? Fire inspector. Saying, we've identified that at 3 Main Street, there is a fire escape. You ask him one question: painted or unpainted? Or is there any life safety issues that you observed? Painted or unpainted? Any life safety issues that you observed? And he says, it wasn't painted. Any life safety issues? He goes, no. So you're going to go out with what color tag? In your general walk-arounds, you'll put that on your schedule to do. You're going to put what color tag on that? Yellow tag. That's it. The tag speaks for itself. And then in your process, through your computer system, you will send a violation out. Saying what? To inspect the fire escape, or are you looking for the last certificate? Do you want a copy of the certificate?
Last time we inspected.
That's all, right? So are you ordering a load test? I mean, or an inspection?
Not yet.
This is an awareness program, right? We just want, as part of our new guidelines for the city, we'd like a tag on every fire escape. So we just want, for the next 3 to 5 years, to find everyone so we can have a nice number. There's 767 fire escapes identified in our city. And everyone must have a tag, like an elevator tag, of its condition. So minimally, you're going to get either a yellow or a red from us to start the ball rolling. And whether that person takes 6 months or 6 years to finally get to it, do you care? Of course you're going to care afterwards, because somebody who took 6 years to get that, is there fines, penalties, and fees? As soon as you write a violation, do you have that ability to assess fines and fees if they're not on top of it? Daily fines, per diem kind of things? So you can make a fire escape that as soon as the tag goes on there, if they react within the first 30 days and get it started, they don't have to finish it within 30 days, but if you can if they start contacting you within the first 30 days, there's no fines and penalties and fees. But if they leave it alone, and they're gonna ignore you for 6 years, you got a lot on your plate. What are you trying to find in the first 1 to 3 years? The yellows or the reds? What are you going to work with in the first 1 to 3 years because you're very busy? You got a lot on your plate. What are you going to start attacking? All your reds. So you're just tagging everything. The firefighters that are doing pre-plans are always telling, hey, I found another one on this building. I found another one in this lady's residential. I found another one here. I found a wooden one here. I found another one here. You just want to go out and tag it. Then you get back, you start the process of the computerization where a letter gets generated, and that takes 30 days for them to get it. They're going to call you, and you ask them for an inspection or for a current certificate, a copy of a current certificate. Right? Are you pushing anybody to do anything? They should have been doing this anyway, right? So now you've started. So here's the start the plan. Start in the downtown. If you want, I can come down and meet you in your downtown, and we do a 2 to 4 hour walk around. And we just walk alleyways. I'm going to show you an alleyway that I did a downtown walk around with the commissioner of the city of Lowell. Change the laws and regulations and make it every 1 to 5 years. You're going to do it starting with this guidelines and procedures. That's where it started. You want to make it a state code issue? Tell me who it is, and we'll go together to the state so that the state changes its code. But that's a 5-year walk up a hill on a cold day with molasses in our hands, right? But that's okay. But isn't this great that you have this, as soon as you make it as a guideline and a procedure, it's sort of like helps you immediately get this thing under control, and you have a document that says here where the code is, right? It doesn't say every 1 or 5 years, does it? It says every day you must meet this code. There's no 1 5-year rule. Every day you got to meet that code. You got to show me that it's structurally sound, or I can order load tests every day if I want to. Right? So, must be structurally sound, must be kept painted. That's what that said. I talked to you about the permit. You're going to work, some of you do double duty, right? You're fire inspectors and building inspectors? Depending? Okay, so you need to bring your building inspector in on this, right? And have him do what? Not only take a class like this, because usually after we get the fire department on board, guess who else we make take a class? And if they don't want to take a class, guess what class we make them watch? Your class. So this class being recorded, we make them watch your class. But now they're just going to help you with the permit process. They're going to say, guys, any permit gets pulled on any existing structure, issue the permit. But to close anyone, I need you to identify whether they have an internal or external means of egress and ask for a copy of the certificate. Are they ordering inspections? Are they ordering inspections if they're asking for a copy of the certificate to close the permit? Nope. Can they still close the permit and then notify you that they have a permit that didn't have that document that you asked for, which was a copy? So it doesn't, if the fact that the owner says I don't have one, doesn't that automatically generate a violation? On your part, not his? So he can close his permit, can't he? He doesn't have to hold up permits. He can say, okay, you have an external? External permit. Okay, it says I need a copy of your current certificate. Do you have one? No? Okay, that's a no on this box. By the way, the fire official is going to immediately contact you. So I'm closing your permit. Here you are. Everything's good. I've inspected. You're all good. Thank you very much. But just so you know, this checkbox says I have to let this guy know that your fire escape doesn't have a certificate on it. Well, what's that all about? Well, because this card calling and good luck.
Sometimes with those closing those permits, you may issue a certificate of occupancy.
No, I'm playing with you.
Yeah, I know.
Because right now the smoke detector sign off is another thing that you should add that to the list.
Right.
You want to add this also, go get your sprinkler list and add the fire escape to the sprinkler list. I don't make these lists, but you guys can easily create in policy saying all buildings that have sprinklers that have fire escapes those must be submitted together every year. So don't make it so you have to remember about it every time. Make it so that it's an automatic checklist item. Just put it on a checklist. What other things do we talk about that you guys need? In the downtown walk around, when we come down and walk around with you, we get the ball rolling. by walking down alleyways and showing you all these buildings. And all you're asking for as we walk down all these buildings, unless we're looking at red situations, you're gonna be asking for inspections as we walk down alleyways or current certificates. It's nothing but an awareness walk, right? We're not doing anything else but walking around and doing an awareness, right? And we ask for certificates, usually it's a 30-day process of, by the time they get a letter, but you can walk around and put some tags on, and then in your city, you want, just like Seattle. So are you the first one doing it in the nation, or starting to follow the trend in the nation? Seattle wants every fire escape, like your elevator, to have a tag on it. For whose benefit? Everyone. The tenants benefit, the firemen's benefit, and the tag has a date on it that says, on average, it's every 5 years, when it's due for a new reinspection by a structural engineer. But who inspects it every year? You and the owner. Do you walk it up and down? Or the owner walks it up and down and hands it to you at the bottom of the walk? Now, imagine this as a cure. All rent checks can only be collected on buildings with fire escapes through the fire escape. And all tenants have to duct tape their checks to the outside of the window, call the management company and the owner, said, hey, I noticed you haven't picked up the last 3 rent checks. I'm duct taping the 4th one. When are you coming? Wouldn't that be great? But that's sadly not the case. The only people that are getting on these fire escapes are tenants having a smoke and falling through, and firemen coming in and doing something in regards to the fire and stepping on these things and falling through. So let's, I'm going to open it up to questions, and I'm going to put it on a walkthrough of the Lowell, because the reason I like the Lowell one is because we got a mix of fire escapes in that alleyway. And I'm only going to play for about 5 minutes, but you're going to get the idea of what it is. What he, as the commissioner, he doesn't go out and inspect fire escapes, but he wanted to be out there so that his men knew what to look for. Okay? So let me play that, and then we'll open it up to questions. We'll open up, we'll go in a little bit more detail about what I handed you as a handout, answer any last minute questions, and then if possible, we had a small interview at the beginning, but now we can actually probably do an interview at the very end with all of you, just to say, what did you come in here knowing, and now what are you leaving with knowing, and how has this minimally affected your ability now to handle something that was the bastard child of egress? You know what I'm saying? So let me play that one video that I think you guys are going to like. Actually, we just, let me see if this goes right into something. I want to give you a quick little lesson, right? This is us walking around with people I'm inspecting, housing inspectors, building inspectors, and fire inspectors, but all over the country, right?